Hi, I'm Alex Zaves, and welcome to the Arts and Crafts Show. Today I would like to discuss the responsibility of those who put on the show. They're either called organizers, promoters, directors. 40 years ago they were called organizers because basically it was just us artists and craftspeople who put on the show. There weren't any real official shows being put on at that time. There were a few, but not many. And so I have had a little bit of experience as being an organizer of a show. And I can say that there hasn't been much change over the last 40 years. So let's see what the responsibilities are, and then we can kind of go into a little bit of detail here and there. The basic responsibility is that the organizer or promoter, or as many times they're called today, are directors. They are responsible for getting you the information about the show. What are the dates? If it's a juried show, then they'll be responsible for gathering up the jurors. As for the qualification of the jurors, well, that varies from show to show. Sometimes it's the friends of the promoters or the friends of the directors, or it could be actually somebody who is from a museum or from the university, which is what we did 40 years ago when we put on shows in Honolulu. We did juried shows. And we hired people from the museum and from the university. It was a token fee, and it wasn't very much, and they got a percentage off the arts and crafts at the show. But today, most of the shows that are being put on by Chamber of Commerce, nonprofit organizations, and some downtown merchants. The Downtown Merchants Association there's a lot of small brick and mortar businesses, and they created the association because, they're kind of like in this small area that people weren't really going to much anymore, and they were going to the larger shopping malls. So what they did was they decided to bring the artists to come in once or twice in a season to encourage the community to come, check out the art show, and at the same time they could check out all the different businesses that were in the area. That's when the show started to be called directors. The show promoters became directors. But no matter what you call them, directors, organizers, all the responsibilities are the same. They tell you, what are the rules of the show. You've got to get your tax license in there, mostly because they are the ones that are responsible to make sure that the artists have their tax license there, because if they don't, they're penalized as well as I am, or you are, or we are. So that is involved. Some shows, especially in the cities, they'll hire security. Some of the more rural areas, it's not necessary. It's a very quiet and calm community. That really depends where it is. It used to be years ago, there wasn't much security. They didn't hire anybody, but I see more security at the shows. And they could be off-duty policemen, or they could actually be policemen that are driving around on their police cars all night long. They'll go from spot to spot looking for any problems. And those are probably the best. I don't know what they pay for that security these days. And there's just some shows that they know some people in the community. There are some guys that are retired on Social Security. They just kind of hang out all night long. And they act more like a witness if there's a problem, rather than running after, running after any thieves or anything like that. So they're a deterrent. I mean, I've gone to some shows where they say there's all night security, and I like to get to the show sometimes 4:30 in the morning because I camp at the show, and I like to get to my booth, and I like to make sure it's, if it was a windy night or rainy, everything is still intact, and I'm usually the first ones at the show at 4:30 in the morning, and I could be there for an hour and a half, and I do not see any security at all. Sometimes they do come around and they want to see who I am. Not as often as they don't, I can say that. So they'll also help you with, where do you park your vehicle during the show. A lot of times they'll try to keep it off in the distance, and they'll say these are the areas that you park in, and they'll have shuttle you in. And then some of these shows will also help you with discounts for artists if you want to stay in the hotels. And I would say, that's pretty nice to help, but the hotels already up their prices already. So you're getting a discount back to maybe what the normal rates are, but there's still a good percentage of us, 40 to 60%, that still camp at the shows and have a little camper with us, or we camp right inside. Some people camp right inside their booth or right behind their booth. They bring a tent. And I do have some information about that, and I'll put that above from my other video. And then there's a lot of different things that some shows do provide. They'll provide awards, or, first, second, third prize, honorary prize, which means they'll give you next year's booth for free. Usually, sometimes it's a cash award, depending on, where you do your show at. Sometimes those cash awards could amount up to $1,000 or $2,000, and I've seen that in Florida. And then there's some shows where they will provide, a lot of shows really provide, they will give you coffee in the morning and some kind of breakfast. And a lot of the shows today, they're giving more muffins and more energy drinks and more, natural foods. Whereas in 20 years ago, you got coffee and donuts, and that was about it. And then now some shows, they'll offer on Saturday night where the artists can gather, and we sit around and we chat for a while. And, they'll provide some beer and wine, and they'll even have a full-on buffet for the artists. Very nice. And so, so some shows really offer something really good. Some shows, when it's really hot days, they'll bring around hot water on their golf carts. So I kind of like doing shows, it's really nice. But that's not really required. I mean, the show basic is, they'll give you the rules to come in, make sure you show your taxes, license, and, when your sign-in time is and when you can leave the show on Sunday. And that's basically it. If you have any problems during the show, like I did one show when I signed in, I wasn't too far from the food booths. It was a good area to be in, but they had a generator that was 6 foot tall by 6 foot wide by, 2 foot deep. And that made so much noise that I couldn't hear myself. I couldn't talk to my customers. I talked to the show promoter, and they basically, had them move that down another 40 feet, away. And it was a little more quiet, and I could work. Okay, so they do help you if there's a problem. And don't forget, promoters don't only just deal with the artists. They're also dealing with the food booths. They're dealing with entertainment. And they're dealing with the top promoter or director or the organizer, the president, whatever the one that's, in charge, basically. And they're usually available. They're the ones also taking care of, a lot of the volunteers in the community. And there could be 20, 30 workers, around the show trying to put things together, including security, volunteers, people cleaning up the trash, making sure the restrooms are cleaned up, any little problems going on. Booth sitters during the day. Sometimes if you're there alone, you don't have any help, there'll be a booth sitter that will come along, and they will help you for 10 to 15 minutes while you can relax, go to the restroom, maybe get a bite to eat, or maybe they will go get you a bite to eat, some food from one of the food booths there. So there's a lot of, there's a lot of things going on at the show, but basically it's you get a booth, you've already paid your fee, juried or not, indoors or outdoors, you get your spot, you're signed in, you set up your booth, and of course they'll have somebody coming around checking to make sure you got your license displayed, or and you're selling exactly what you sent in your application for, be it a slide or a CD. You'll send that in, and they'll check that you're selling what you said you were going to sell. And basically, most of the shows are always calm. I've never really seen any real problems in the show. It's pretty smooth. If there's bad weather, part of the job of the organizer, promoter will also be to shut down the show if there's a thunderstorm coming or a tornado. I've been through that too. And they'll shut down the show, and they'll say bad weather's coming. That always seems to be happening at the end of the day. Nobody likes to pack up when it's thunderstorm right at the end of Sunday at 4 o'clock and everything's wet. They usually try to, accommodate us by getting, us packed up an hour earlier for those of us who know how to pack up quickly. So I would say that the responsibility of the organizer, the promoter, and the director, all one and the same, just a different name, is that, they help guide us through a very comfortable show. They're bringing in the customers. They do their publicity. They do all the things that they need that you normally think to get the work out on social media, in the news, in the papers. They bring TV in on Saturday so the customers can come in on Sunday, and they get everything ready for us. And I would say that, in 40 years, I can say almost every show has run smoothly. There's always, the only thing I think that has ever hindered a show that I've really been in is bad weather. Neighbors are nice around us, and for the most part, everybody works together. We've been doing this for a while. We're a family of artists and craftspeople. We're a community of artists and craftspeople. And when you remember that, we all work together, and it's a really good way to go. So, not difficult, very comfortable doing shows. And any other questions that you have, please put them down in the comment section below. Share, and also like and subscribe if you can. Ring the bell, and that way other people can also know that there's an Arts and Crafts Show channel going on YouTube. Thanks very much. On the next show, I'll see you then. Bye.